Hey Doodle Lovers, Ashley here with TaylorMade Puppies. I'm excited to teach you today and talk to you about generations for Goldendoodles. So a lot of times people start looking for a Goldendoodle and they start getting really confused about what generations, F1, F2, F1b, what size, teacup, micro. So today I just want to explain a little bit about what all of that means. Everybody's looking for something different. So whether it be the size, they want a really big dog, they want a really small dog, they want a dog that will not shed, they want a dog that has wavy hair, curly hair. So I'm going to explain all of that to you today. So just a disclaimer though, this is kind of just a general synopsis with generations explained. You can't always 100% guarantee everything that I'm going to explain today. It's just impossible. And so just giving you that general scope of what a Goldendoodle is will help you in your search for a Goldendoodle and finding your perfect match. So if you're new here today, please just subscribe and like my video. I would love to teach you more. I really get excited in my program to be educational and transparent and talk to you about what I do with my puppies and how I raise them. I feel like I have the best puppies in the world, and I take a lot of pride in how I raise them, and so and how I treat my clients and give them transparency and education. So without further ado, let's go ahead and explain Goldendoodles. So first and foremost, a Goldendoodle comes from a golden retriever and a poodle. So they are not purebred dogs, they come from purebred dogs. So we're gonna call this a hybrid breed. So when we take a golden retriever and we take a poodle and we breed them, we're taking the health benefits of both of them and adding them together, which poodles have some of the best health benefits there are out there. And a retriever also has very good health benefits. So this combination is a very good combination of a breed. So when we take a golden retriever and a poodle and we mix the two, or we breed the two, we are essentially getting 50%. Now we can never really say exactly 50%, because that number doesn't really always come out exactly like that. But essentially it's a half and half golden retriever and a poodle. So with an F1, you are going to get more of a wavy coat, and sometimes you can have a straighter coat, and sometimes you can even have a flat coat. So a flat coat is when they actually do have a lot more shedding and they do look more like a retriever. So when we do breed as breeders, the breeder wants to make sure that they're testing their DNA for their moms and their dads. They're looking at their furnishings, they're looking at their curl. All of those things play into breeding a dog. So when I take my moms and my dads, I make sure that I'm going to breed a retriever with a poodle that have good furnishings and that are going to make those wavy coats that do not have the flat coats that are just shedding retrievers. So the F1 generation is the wavy coat, and it does have a little more susceptibility to have some shedding and a little bit more susceptibility to those who have some allergies. So an F1 also is your larger breed because you're taking a full-size mom, and you can take a poodle who is the exact same size as your mom, or you can take a poodle that's about a 5-pound, and then you're going to meet in the middle and you're going to have that weight that's kind of in the middle of the two. So one thing to take note with the Goldendoodle and F1 Goldendoodle is they do have that straighter, wavier coat. So their coat is less maintenance, but they can take a little more time to doodle out. So sometimes as they get that 5 to 6 month old range, their coat kind of looks scrappy. People are starting a little worried about their coat, but they just take a little more time to kind of grow in that cute little beard face and the eyebrow hair, and just doodle out is kind of what we call it, but nothing to be concerned about. It's just something that happens with the Goldendoodle, the F1 and their coat, and as they're maturing and aging and just maturing into that beautiful Goldendoodle that we all love. So an F1 is gonna, 1, be a little bit bigger, 2, have more of a wavy coat versus a straight coat, and 3, have a little bit more of the retriever traits than versus when you get into the smaller generations, you can have a little bit more of the poodly snout and face for a smaller dog. So the same thing goes along with the Cavapoos. So we've got a King Charles Cavalier, which is a full-bred King Charles Cavalier, and a poodle, and we breed the two, and so we're gonna have an F1. These ones will have that more wavy coat. They will not have the tighter curl, but they are a really good generation F1 Cavapoos. So the next generation we have is an F1b. So we're gonna take an F1 and breed it back to a poodle. So the letters in F1b and the numbers stand for, first, the F is Phileas Hybrid. So that is essentially a fancy word for a purebred dog. So you're taking that F, and then you're taking the 1 stands for first generation. The B is breeding back to another full breed generation. So in this case, you're going to have a little bit more wavy and curly coats in this generation. So essentially you're getting a 75% poodle, 25% golden retriever. Now again, we can never say 100%, those percentages don't exactly match up, but that's essentially what you're getting. You have more poodle in this breed, which adds more hypoallergenic to their coat. It adds a little more curl, a little bit more wave. And we can make these ones a little bit smaller because we take a first generation, which would be maybe around 25 pounds, and then we can breed it back to another tiny poodle and make it even smaller, and we can do teacup size. So for my teacups, it's about 8 to 17 pounds. So that F1b, we can get down a little bit smaller, a little more hypoallergenic coat, a little more soft wavy curl to those coats. There's a little more grooming involved with this generation, but again, they do have a better outcome for those with mild allergies. So then the next generation we're going to talk about is an F1bb. So we're going to take an F1b mom and we're going to breed it to another poodle. So this adds even more poodle into that. So we're percentage-wise are getting a little bit more poodle and a lot less retriever, but we still have the traits of both in that mix. So now when we breed this size, we can actually breed even smaller. So this is where we get our micro teacups, and we can get around a 10-pound golden doodle because we're taking a teacup or a mini golden doodle who's an F1b, and we're breeding it back to potentially a 3 to 5 pound poodle, which then we make into, 8 to 10 pounds, 8 to 12 pound micro teacup golden doodle. So in my case, I do have one of my studs that I've kept from my lines. His name is Fig, and he is going to be under 10 pounds, and he will be, and he is an F1bb, and he is genetic cleared for everything, and he looks amazing. He's gonna be a future stud for some of my golden doodle moms. So this actually brings me then to a multi-generational golden doodle. So I will be using my F1bb stud to breed with some of my F1b girls. So then we take those qualities, those great qualities of both of them, and we combine the two. Now, multi-generation coats are also actually very, very amazing, soft, beautiful coats. They're some of my favorite. We vary a little bit more in size with the multi-generational golden doodle. It just really depends on the parent size, but the parent's genetics can play a little bit more of a role in that. So when we estimate a multi-generational golden doodle to be 8 to 17 pounds, we're pretty accurate and pretty sure that that's about what they're going to be, but there can never be a guarantee in size when you're doing a hybrid breed. So every now and then we have an anomaly where we, have a 20 pounder or, something that's really tiny. So when you're mixing those hybrid breeds, it's a little more difficult to really gauge size as far as what the client and what the families are going to get as size-wise. We do our very best to estimate based on previous litters and the size of the parents, but multi-generational golden doodles are a really good option for again, people with mild allergies who are looking for something a lot smaller, and they are just great family dogs as well, the multi-generational golden doodle. Now we can get into F2, F2bb, all of these things, but these are the more unpredictable traits that happen when you're breeding golden doodles, and so I really don't get into those. And so for me, it's just something that I want to provide the best coats and the best traits possible, and so I stick with kind of the classic basics, the F1, F1b, F1bb, and multi-generational golden doodles. Now with an F1b, you can actually breed, so an F1 back to something that's a purebred dog. So in the golden doodle world, you're always wanting to breed that back to a poodle. There are some breeders who will do what's called a reverse F1b, and they will take, instead of that poodle, and breed them back to a golden retriever. Now this can be problematic because this actually causes a little more unpredictable coats. They can look more unfurnished, they can have a lot more shedding. So when you are getting a golden doodle, you want to make sure, whoever you're getting it from, that you're asking, what are you bringing it back to? Are you bringing it back to a poodle or a golden retriever? Now it is a lot less common to breed it back to a golden retriever, but you do have to do your due diligence. Just make sure, because with an F1b, you want to be making sure that you're breeding back to a poodle for that beautiful F1b soft, wavy, silky coat. So hopefully that helped you in figuring out what kind of golden doodle you need in your family, that meets all of your needs, size, temperament, coat, maintenance, allergies, all of those things that are really important to take into consideration when getting your golden doodle. And being educated and informed is a really important step there. So if you like this video and you want to learn more about golden doodles as I continue to educate you on what golden doodles are and what they can do for you and your family, go ahead and subscribe and like, and I will see you next time.